I just want to say something about this experiment that was done, with ducks, where they shocked the baby duckling. Um, well, the researchers' perspective is that they're shocking the duckling for following the baby, for following the mother. And then they're saying that this is a paradox. But the idea that a duckling is cognitively developed enough to understand that it's being shocked because it's following is something that would need to be demonstrated on its own. And I think would be very hard to demonstrate because it's probably not true. A way to understand the situation without developing a paradox is simply to point out that the duckling, like the baby duck, is trying to flee danger by attaching itself to the mother, and it's not able to understand anything else. It's only able to understand safety is towards the mother, and it may be the case that the more you shock it, you might be putting a shock in between it, or something like that, and it may just exaggerate the response. It's not a paradox. It's just a proportional response. The more danger that the duckling feels it's in, the quicker it will run to its safe point. And it's just not smart enough to understand these complicating factors. So that's not a paradox. It's just a misunderstood experiment. Um, that said, well, no, I'm not gonna bother. I'm watching. This is a well put together film. This is the reason that I'll watch his videos, because once in a while he'll do something interesting like this. But pointing that out, and using pointing that duckling experiment out and using it as evidence that humans are um, easily manipulable is a big problem. Number one, because it's ducks, and number two, because if you really understood the experiment, what you'd really be seeing is just a duckling that's reacting proportionally to what it is interpreting as danger by trying to get back to safety as fast as it can. They also brought up this experiment to do with dogs, where you have one group that was being consistently treated well, another group that was being consistently treated poorly, and a third group that was randomly treated, nicely or poorly. And they concluded that it was the third group that had the strongest level of dependency to humans, and they're trying to draw some conclusions about attachment or dependency. Um, Dogs are smart. They're certainly smarter than ducks. I don't think anybody would say they're as smart as monkeys, but they're smart. And a dog can figure out concepts of causality fairly well. Okay, if you've ever had a dog, you know that if you if you have a relationship with a dog and you punish it, the dog will suck up to you afterwards, because it knows it did something that it shouldn't have done, and it wants to make up for it. That's something that, like I say, if you've had a dog, you know that that's true. Dogs hold grudges. Um, they have a concept of retribution, and they understand that if they've been punished for something, then they need to make amends for it. Which I'm not even sure that most humans have a really fully defined concept of, but dogs mostly do, right? So when you see that, you're not seeing some reduction to slavery or something. You're just seeing that if you put dogs in a situation where you make them feel as though they've done something wrong, they will react by making up for it, um, by by trying to redeem themselves, right? And that's not um, I mean, it's not about dependency or control so much as it's about self-interest, because the dog realizes that it wants to get on its good side with the people that it's cohabiting with, the people that are a part of its pack, or however you want to articulate that. It wants to be on good terms with that, and so if it feels like there was a transgression, like it did something bad, then it will try to make up for it. Which is not really to take away from the general point that he's trying to make here. So much to point out is that that's another experiment that's being misunderstood. You see this all the time on these kinds of alternative media people. They consistently do this, um, and yeah. So I mean, it's not. The right conclusion to draw from that dog experiment is not that uncertainty leads to slavery, so much as that dogs can understand cause and effect and want to live in harmony with the other creatures around them by making amends when they feel that they've done something bad.